Hello friend, and welcome to the slowest sim driving channel on YouTube. The Crew Motorfest has arrived. So make no mistake about it, I was hoping that this would be a video which involved some great gameplay footage. I was going to do some racing videos, and it was going to look good, I thought. So I bought into the game. I got the 3 days early access so that I can make some videos, and quite frankly, after 2.5 days of playing the game, I've got no good footage whatsoever. Where to begin? The footage you're watching at the moment is recorded on PS5 in graphics quality mode, the resolution mode, and as you can see, the frame rate is just abysmal. It looks like about 30 frames per second. You need higher than that for a racing game, believe me. Instead of showing off amazing racing content, I'm going to end up just talking about the game, and you'll soon realise why that is. The game is split up into playlists, and by going through the playlists you unlock more playlists. It's a pretty simple way of doing things. The playlists themselves are themed, and the themes are actually pretty good, and the playlists stay within the themes. There are a few problems with the playlists. First of all, they seem to be lessons, whether it's about Hawaii or about a particular kind of racing or about a particular car. You're trying to race and the whole time somebody is talking, and it's just so off-putting. The graphics themselves aren't that great, and I'm put in mind actually of Gameloft games, so there's no need for the frame rate to be so low. There's just a lot of unnecessary particles. The lighting's not even that great in most places. In some places it's spectacular, but in most places it's not brilliant. The reflections are pretty good, I give it that much. The cars themselves look a little bit lackluster, but with a 600 car rotor, you know, it's not going to be GT7 level of car quality. The cockpits look okay in the cars. They're all quite unique. They look quite authentic. As with many developers, and as is typical with Ubisoft, the human avatars are abysmal. We've come further than this now. We're in a better place than this. We can make avatars look better than this. They look no better than stock assets in Unity games, which is unfortunately very disappointing. But to me, nothing is more disappointing than the multiplayer in this game. You see players driving around, but you can't interact with them. They just ghost when they come near you. You can't race with them in the playlists unless they're part of your crew. Your crew is your private party, and that is a maximum of 4 players. So for a racing game, which has shown that it can have around 30 people in a lobby, which we'll get to in a moment, but you can only have a private group of 4 people, so there is absolutely no scalability here for a community. There's no provision for a racing community or a community making racing videos, for example, which means this isn't going to be a big game for content creators. Those bigger lobbies I talked about are the Grand Race and Demolition races. However, there's only ever 2 of them at a time on the list of activities. So that's really not a lot to do online with other people. The Grand Race is a race of up to 28 people in a lobby, and this is actually one of the game's better features, because the Grand Race gives you a region to race in and will then draw a route in that region, which is quite good because you don't always know what's coming up. And even better, you choose 3 vehicles from randomly selected groups of vehicles. And if you don't have the vehicles, it's okay, you get one you can rent. And at each 1/3 point in the race, you will suddenly switch to the next vehicle. So that's great. That makes things very different. The other one of the random PvP game modes is Demolition. And in Demolition you drop in to a battle arena, you try to pick up power-ups, summon a monster truck if you can, and smash other people basically. You do this in groups of 4. The game will assign you a crew if you don't already have a crew with you that you're in a party with, and victory is the last crew standing. It's disappointing that you cannot just add people to races. You can't invite them like you would in the Forza games, for example, where you just tell everyone on the server you're about to do an event and they can come and join. There's no way of making your own events. There's no way of putting together your own time trials to test your vehicles. The way you upgrade your vehicles is very similar to the Need for Speed games, where you have categories for your vehicles and you can add parts to that category. The parts have different rarities and they're pretty easy to find. They're won in events or they're found in treasure chests, which are pretty easy to find once you've figured out your radar, how that works. That's quite intuitive. You'll also get them as a reward for hitting certain milestones. And it's those milestones which ultimately unlock the main stage. And the main stage is where you win the big prizes. But here's where the game starts to suffer, in my opinion, because although at the main stage you're suddenly using your own vehicles and you can use the vehicles you've upgraded, you can really get into being more free with the game holding your hand a lot less. What you're doing is events you've already done, but with your own vehicles. So you've got these playlists, you beat the playlists so that you can use your own cars, and then you have to go and drive the playlists and grind the playlists. And it is a grind to get those final levels that you need in the hope of getting the big rewards. You're really having to drive over and over and over again on races you've already done. The environment is okay, although there are a lot of sections where road meets grass. Where road meets grass, you're going to find your car spinning if you just touch it ever so slightly. The car is on ice basically as soon as it hits grass, or if it hits sand, anything beside the road, you're off for a spin. In that respect, the game is very unforgiving. You do of course have a rewind mode, which is very similar to the rewind mode in the Forza games. Something pretty unique within this game is the car meet, and in the car meet we get to come to the custom show. In the custom show, have a look around and see which cars you like best. You can vote on your favourite custom cars, and of course you can make your own custom car and you can bring that here and win prizes for getting votes. We've certainly seen this in games before, but I don't think we've seen it to this sort of level. There's a lot of American cars here, and unfortunately I'm not a big fan of American cars. I don't really see anything that takes my fancy. Well, I'm a sucker for a DeLorean. You'll do. So you're probably wondering, hey Grandpa, how does it handle? What's best, controller or wheel? Well, let me tell you about my experiences. On wheel, on my Bozza R9, which is the only wheel I've tested so far, the gameplay felt awful. Aside from the fact that the force feedback was just very harsh, didn't really tell me anything, the cars were very oversteery. And that was bad enough, but even worse than that was the fact that the wheel would snap to one side during cutscenes or even after a race had finished. That's not just dodgy, that's actually quite dangerous when you've got a direct drive wheel. So that's definitely something to be concerned about. I will be testing other wheels. I'll be testing gear driven, belt driven and bungee wheels. So I'm going to let you know in a later video exactly what my recommendation is wheel wise. On controller, well, I'm playing on the PS5, and so I'm using the DualSense. I've got to say, on controller, this game's actually really nice. There's a lot of information being transmitted through the controller. I know what's going on with the engine. I know what's going on with the road beneath me. There's plenty of information through the haptic feedback. Although I'm just demonstrating my absolute favourite feature of this game, which is the stuff in the back of this car actually moves around. There's a ball in there that moves from side to side, and that rubber ring. Probably my favourite feature in this game by far. Well done, Ubisoft. That's awesome. Now that we've talked about one of my favourite features of this game, let's talk about one of my least favourite. So here's your playlists. Let's say we want to go Off-Roading Addict. Rather than needing a particular class of vehicle to do this, we need a specific vehicle. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to the shop. Here it is. As you can see, we can buy it for 160,000 bucks, which is what we earn in races, or 22,900 credits. And credits are, it's real money. You pay for credit packs on the on whichever store you're on. In my case, on the PlayStation Network store. One of the things they do here is they sell these packs where you can save money, and these packs are to help with the playlists. So yeah, you need specific vehicles to get specific bonuses in the playlists. I just need to buy them. Okay, that just adds to the grind. But worse still, look, there are some packs which you can only buy using credits. Yes, it's a pay-to-win mechanic. This means that for all the money we've spent on the game at this point, we still can't have everything. We still don't own everything in the game. I actually have the season pass. I've bought all the DLC and everything, and I still can't have this car because they want me to spend more money. No, Ubisoft, it's my money. You've had enough money from me forever at this point. So, am I going to recommend this? That's a tough one. Let's ask a different question. Am I going to play this? Yeah, I'm going to play this. I'm probably going to play this a fair bit. I'm trying to do the challenges. But why? After all the terrible things I've said about this, why am I going to play this? Well, ultimately my spin on this game is that it's like a dev has tried to make a rip-off of Forza Horizon 5 and Need for Speed Unbound. And they've had so much to compete with that they literally haven't had time to put all the features in. So either this is now an unfinished game and we're going to get more of it, in which case, okay, we might have just justified, getting the game in the first place. Or, this for me is going to be the nail in the coffin, which sees me wash my hands of the Crew franchise altogether. So what's your opinion? Do you have one? Have you already got Motorfest? Do you enjoy it? Are you satisfied with it? Are you going to get Motorfest? If so, why? Or why not? Let me know down in the comments. And let me know, do you want to see any racing content from Motorfest on this channel? I want to say a big thank you to our channel sponsor Button Bashers for PCs, consoles, games and accessories. A big thank you to our Patreon patrons for supporting the channel in their unique way. And thank you to Discord for always being there to take part in races and to give me a hard time. Until next time, be good to yourselves, be good to those around you. Bye bye for now.